2025, new year, new me, new sparkly lights for some reason today, and also a new WCA board member just dropped, everyone. The announcement appeared today on the WCA website. Changes in the WCA board of directors, January 2025, announced by Zain Al-Bezad. Due to the vacancies in the board of directors, an anonymous election took place on January the 1st. That's keen, 2025, to elect new members. The election was done according to motion 5.2024.1, election of directors. The board received applications from Dan Smith. End of list. We are happy to announce that the election was successful. Congratulations, Dan. You smashed the competition. And that Dan was elected as a new member of the WCA Board of Directors. We wish him the best of luck with his duties. And so do I. You know what? So those of you with a functioning prefrontal cortex or wherever memories work, I don't know. I'm not a brain scientist. There was an announcement in October to say that Michael Chai had stood down from his position on the WCA Board of Directors after just 16 months. Whatever, read into that what you will. But now we are finding, I am assuming his replacement, Dan Smith. The application can be viewed here, and that's what we're about to do right now, Timmy. So first of all, I want to say, just genuine congratulations, Dan. Lovely to have you on board. I've read this already. I like the cut of Dan's jib, all right? I like the sound of what Dan's offering and bringing to the board of directors. I think this is going to be cool. I'm excited for this. I'm excited for the board. I'm excited for the organization. I'm excited for him, honestly. So we're going to blast through this, okay? So this is his candidacy document from December. My name is Dan Smith. Hi, Dan. My name is Mike. Nice to meet you. I'm a delegate and senior member of the WCA Quality Assurance Committee, aka the WCAC. I have been fortunate to share my life's journey with my amazing wife, Angela, shout out, whom I met in high school. That's very sweet. Together we have 6 wonderful children and 2 grandchildren. Okay. In my professional career, I work as a project manager. Love to hear that. A knowledge manager contractor. Don't know what that is. Sounds good. Delivering leadership and management expertise to industry leaders such as Microsoft, eBay, and NetApp. Outside of cubing, you'll find me enjoying time with the family and friends, playing table games, mostly chess. Nerd. Jokes. And watching... Why did I do that? That's so uncalled for. I've literally played chess on this channel before, and watching sports or documentaries. I first solved the Rubik's Cube in 1981 and never stopped after the fad died away. Attended my first competition in 2018 and have been speedcubing ever since. I'm the only cuber in the family and only one of our kids even solves cubes casually. Hey, that's one more than I've got, buddy. None of mine can solve. So here we go. Summary of what WCA involvement, WCA committee work. As a WCAC senior member from August 23, I helped create educational resources and tutorials, assisted with delegate appointments, and performed investigations dealing with competition quality. As the project lead for the new learning management system, LMS, write that down, kids, I am guiding the team in developing use cases, establishing a project schedule, and defining success criteria. All of these words make me so happy. But you know why? Why? And now I'm not trying to be cheeky or silly or funny. The board needs experienced people. And dare I say, older people, because you cannot get experience without having literally lived. Right? That's my take on it. I'm excited that someone at this level is coming, because you can be intelligent and young, but you can't get experience at the same time without having lived and without having a career. Okay, so I'm excited to say this. That's no shade on any of the current members. I don't really know any of them very, very well, but I like to hear that someone with so much experience is coming in. Before being appointed a delegate, I actively staffed virtually every competition I attended. I've always rolled up my sleeves to dive in and help. Then in mid-2021, I reached out to a delegate about organising. After that competition, I was approached about becoming a delegate. I am a full delegate as of July 23 with over 40 delegated competitions after becoming a trainee delegate in Feb 22 and a junior delegate in May 22. I've also had the honour of being a stage lead at 3 regional championships and working with the great teams of delegates. So he knows his chops, does our Dan Smith. That's good. Training other delegates. I've used the opportunity at all delegated competitions to train others and build the community. We now have 1 other full delegate and 5 other junior delegates, when before none existed for over 500 kilometers. Hey, I can relate. It was a pretty hard grind to convince our local organization to expand out into more delegates. So, you know, we're all fighting the same fight. Love to hear it. I have also created multiple channels for area delegates and organizers to discuss and collaborate on competitions, share information, and improve skills. Local outreach. I've gone to several local schools and a museum to give talks about the WCA, my life in cubing, and to teach them how to solve their first cube. I also created a local cubing group and Facebook page to advertise competitions, offer resources, and inform the community about local area meetups. Finally, I've been interviewed on most local television stations for short and long pieces, as well as morning news segments. So this is a famous person we're talking about here. This is a very famous man who's been all over the news. He's been all over the media, yapping about cubes. We'll love to hear it. Qualifications to be a board member. I bring a range of professional qualifications I believe would make me a valuable and effective board member, all of which I have successfully applied in my recent positions. These include an MBA. Well, gosh dang. I have led teams at several positions to exceed expectations while staying on schedule, on budget, and with the needed resources. Love to hear it. Project management professional. Okay, I've taken the coursework and have been approved to take the exam, which I hope to do mid-2025. All right, so stay in school, Dan. Stay in school. Don't get distracted. We want you to pass your PMP cert. That would be good. I'm also a member of my local PMI chapter and attend local meetings. This is a man who loves project management. Hey, certified product owner, certified scrum master. I've actively managed stakeholder expectations, prioritized product requirements, and managed daily activities. Is he a rugby player? What's a scrum master? Okay, I don't know what that is, to be honest. Certified knowledge manager. As a knowledge manager at my current job, I gather, update, and share knowledge to help people perform better. My capstone project detail creating a knowledge management program for the World Cube Association. Gosh, well, there we are. Other community outreach efforts. I love community outreach. I don't mind taking charge of a situation, building a team to work with me, and working towards a solution that will benefit the community. Some relevant projects include running the last 2 high school reunions and organizing 3 family reunions. And that's not to be underestimated, okay? In our hometown. I was also the president of the Homeowners Association for 2 years. Shout out. Motivation and aspirations as WCA board member. My motivation. Here we are. This is where the good stuff is, all right? This is where the good stuff is, and the stuff that genuinely excites me. I've talked a lot about the board and about boards, because I'm a member of boards, right? I've talked a lot about that on here, and I'm genuinely excited about what our man Dan has to say here regarding his motivations for being on the board and what he's hoping to change and bring. My motivation to be on the board stems from a love of moving organizations forward with strategic and hands-on leadership to solve intricate problems. I love bringing people together towards a common goal. The WCA as an organization can be greater than the sum of its parts. Love that. I have several aspirations to serve and improve the WCA. Each of these will be executed with the empathetic lens of a servant leader and are discussed below. I'm not familiar exactly with what a servant leader means. I guess it's someone who is in a position of power but understands that they serve a community with that power, right? That's my understanding of what that means. First of all, I will work tirelessly to reduce tensions in the WCA. The last several months have been a very trying time for the WCA. We've covered a bit of it. I strive hard to be objective and see all sides of the argument, but I don't see the tension in the communications being diffused. There's been some infighting between committees, as well as what we've seen as non-voting members on the outside as well, okay? Unless we fix this, the future of our beloved organization is quite uncertain. I will use a servant leadership approach to help facilitate collaboration and team problem solving, and I promise to be part of the solution. So he knows what's up. He knows what the challenges are. He's been in the organization. He's led a team. He's had to communicate with other teams. There are many ways to reduce tension in a large organization, such as the WCA. First, all egos must be left at the door. Amen, brother. One cannot take it personally when a better idea arises. Amen, brother. Secondly, email. This is slightly ironic, and I'll tell you why. Email is effective for some discussions, but other more direct methods may solve problems even better. Okay, now why am I saying that's ironic? Communicating through email in a big organization can be a huge problem, a massive roadblock, a huge waste of resources, right? A huge waste of resources. And Dan is looking at that and being like, this is ridiculous. Can we please get better at communicating with each other? And why is it ironic? Because like chewing down in email comms and threads and threads and threads going nowhere and diluting and just bringing nothing is so boomer coded, right? It's so corporate and boomer coded for a young organization like the WCA to be facing that issue and never having fixed it is tough. And then the irony is that we've got someone who is, look, I would refer to myself as a boomer. I'm not literally a boomer. And I don't know the age of Dan, but you've got someone older and experienced coming in and going, what are we doing here with this email quagmire? Can we sort this out and actually just talk to each other more effectively, please? Love that from you, Dan. Love that from you. It might seem like a small thing, but actually in organizations, especially volunteer organizations, it's a catastrophic waste of resources sometimes, and it's just not a good idea, generally speaking. Finally, one must be able to give and receive constructive feedback with empathy. Okay. Secondly, I will bring more drive and proven business leadership and management expertise to the board. Love that. And that's what I was talking about at the top of this. Real genuine management experience, real genuine business experience, you know? Again, not saying that that experience doesn't exist in the board, but I'm looking at the board, I'm looking at the faces, and I'm thinking, who are these people? Where have they come from? What have they lived? What have they experienced? And I like where Dan's coming from with this kind of thinking, okay? The WCA is an amazing community of intelligent and driven folks with a myriad of wonderful ideas. Amen, brother. However, I believe the WCA needs more proven leadership and management expertise to help with strategic thinking to move the organization forward. That's pretty much what I said, but in much better talky words, okay? I will help bring those ideas to light and then continually assess and prioritize what should be done. An example of strong, decisive, and timely leadership could be from a recent competition of mine. The night before the competition, the delegates, organizers, and I discovered that a storm had delayed the venue's opening 3 hours the next morning. After a staff call to assess the situation, I asked one delegate to provide schedule change options, and another delegate offered to craft an email. I also asked the organizer to bring extra volunteers to help set up the venue in half the time. I'm happy to say that a potential disaster became a win. The board often deals with time-sensitive situations such as this. Solid, calm leadership will generally triumph. Lovely. Love to hear it. Third, I will lead efforts to standardize and improve delegate training. That's a great idea. Every country and region trains delegates differently with varying standards. Outside of sharing information at competitions, there are a few concerted efforts to improve training and to document steps for new staff and delegates. Also, newer methods are slow to disperse through the community. I suppose in there, we've got the differences specifically that we've talked about recently between like how Chinese delegates do things and how Western delegates do things. There are some differences. We need uniformity in how that works to sort of maintain the integrity of our results and of our database. And also with some of the shady stuff that's gone on with a couple of delegates around the world, it's just like, can we really work on that? Can we really work on that code of ethics stuff? Like, I would love to see a bit more of that. Honestly, as a parent, as an older cuber, I would love to see a little bit more emphasis on making that stuff uniform across the organization globally as well. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? To help solve this, the WCAG is implementing a learning management system, LMS. Did you write it down? I told you to write it down. For training to complement hands-on training. As a board member, I will bring qualified and energetic people to help with the project. I will also ensure the team creates engaging and regularly updated curriculums for multiple audiences, explores multiple training paths, reports results, and acts on constructive feedback. This is all textbook stuff, Dan. I love it. Fourth, it is very important we improve inter-team communication. It's going back to the email stuff, I think. All WCA teams, committees, and councils are full of driven, energetic people with exciting ideas. However, I don't see much proactive outreach between teams to discuss issues. Womp womp. I will break down barriers to help facilitate better communication and create a more efficient WCA team structure. Love it. Love it, love it. Encouraging a more open culture where team members feel comfortable sharing ideas and feedback is vital to the success of the WCA. More verbal communication will enhance empathy and cooperation. A short email does solve many problems. Alternatively, a long email chain may lose the original point and readers may focus on trivial points rather than seeing the big picture. Amen, brother. Amen, brother. Like, I love that. I love that. You can see this happening actively in the forum on the WCA website sometimes. And you can, honestly, you see it happening in comments on YouTube videos as well sometimes. People just lose the plot. It takes like sometimes 2 or 3 comments on something, and it's like you've forgotten what it is that we actually came here to discuss. And it kind of wrecks my mind. I don't know. I'm gonna sound like a boomer and blame brain rot, but I don't know. It's what it is. But we need to get a bit of a handle on it, especially at the top of the organization. Finally, I will host open office hours and ask me anything sessions that many companies, including my day job, use successfully. If staff can ask questions in an open format, this may solve problems and reduce tensions many times faster than sending a ton of emails back and forth or only reading forum posts. Of course, these sessions can't be and won't be used to replace other official activities such as investigations or circumvent teams, though. Well, listen, Dan, this is an open invitation. If you ever want to do an AMA to non-voting members, because I think specifically you're probably talking about staff there. If you ever want to do any kind of AMA for non-voting members, for just us regular Joes in the WCA community, there's always a spot for you on Cubecast if you want to come on and have a yarn. Give it a few months, get into the job, see what you're dealing with, and I would love to have you on the show. I would love to have you on the show to have a chat and see what's up. So finally, this is his commitment, my commitment to the board and the WCA staff. I will roll up my sleeves from day one and dive in. Well, here you are, Dan. It sounds like you were voted in on the 1st of January, so welcome, I guess. Those who know me personally and have been to my competitions know that as a delegate and organizer, I'm constantly working to improve competitions, train others, and talk to families. I'm generally going from the time doors open to the final cleanup. You sound like a drummer. First there, last to leave. I'll take that same approach on the board from the same day. I will listen with empathy to concerns from WCA staff and the community to help understand and hopefully, hey, I'm the community, to help understand and hopefully help solve whatever issues they might have. Through networking, I will bridge the gap between those who might have a problem and those who provide solutions. I'm here offering networking, Dan. Here it is. If you're keen. If Dan even watches this, I want to find more WCA folks with relevant work experience. We're for the most part volunteers with a great passion for the WCA and speedcubing. However, not everyone knows about the challenges the WCA faces. There are family members who have amazing skills that can help the community. Do you mean literal family members or WCA family members? I hope to find them and ask if they might want to get more involved. We do have a lot of skills in the community. Passion for speedcubing does not mean skills. And I think that's what Dan is alluding to here. You can be as passionate as you want about speedcubing. It doesn't make you a good staff member unless you know what it is to be part of a larger organization than yourself. Does that make sense? I commit to reducing active competition organizing involvement. I'll reduce my active organizer involvement to focus on my board responsibilities and activities. I will still attend and delegate competitions. However, it's important to get into the community, talk to our competitors and families, and understand delegate training needs. Speedcubing is in our blood. Amen, brother. Summary, I know serving on the board will not be easy, but I'm up for the challenge. I'm confident that my drive, as well as proven leadership and management skills, will move the board and the whole organization forward. I will continuously strive to ensure future growth while strengthening our commitment to diversity, inclusion, and excellence. Together, we can all inspire the next generation to change the world, one cube at a time. Whoa, steady on. Steady on. Thanks for considering my application. No worries. Consider it considered. There we go. Dan Smith, everyone. Something he didn't mention was a CEO position, which I would like to hear somebody talk about, just because, you know, I've kind of made it fairly clear that that's kind of my big concern, is that the board has too much to do and they need someone running ops. And as far as I can tell from their finances, they can afford someone to run ops. So, you know, that's the only bit that I would say I'm kind of looking for in there. And I reckon if Dan were to come on, it would probably be my first question to him. It's just like, hey, what do you reckon about my reckons, Dan? So there we are. Dan Smith, new board member on the WCA. We love to see it. Welcome, Dan. I don't know anything about you except what you just wrote on that paper there. So, hey, do you know Dan? You listening right now, do you know Dan? Maybe write something in the comments. Let me know about your experience with Dan. Maybe you know him from a competition or whatever. But that is the end of this cool story. Goodbye.